Hi, my name is Maddie Zarina Whitfield, and you are watching Captivating Conversations, authentic conversations to loving relationships. And today we're going to be talking about what happens when you're afraid that you might be in the right relationship. What are some of the things that you do that you don't even know you're doing that could possibly self-sabotage your relationship? Tune in. Our question today, matter of fact, our subject today comes from a young lady. Here is her scenario. I had a platonic friend for the past 22 years. We were never intimate. He respected my relationship and I respected his. He went on and got married and I was engaged. I always knew in the back of his head that he liked me, but he respected our friendship and didn't know if it would be okay with me. One evening, I was upset and went to his house around 2 a.m. for comfort. And of course, we know what that means. And afterwards, he took it as this is the perfect situation. I'm single, he's single, we already know each other, and we can live happily ever after. And we would go ahead and become an item. I didn't want that. I just wanted to feel good for the moment. I was still hurting from my ex. We fell out and didn't talk for about 9 months, but I started to dream about him and think about him. So I went to apologize, but wasn't really apologetic. So we started talking, but it really wasn't the same. After 24 years of friendship, I realized that I had the perfect mate all the time. I passed him over so many times for other men. Now I want to be with him. I know he loves me and he seems hesitant about being involved with me. The first time we had sex, he thought we were going to be together. And at that time, I slept with him to be spiteful, not out of passion and desire. Whew, that was a lot. Now, it seems to me that if I had to give my input and just my opinion on this situation, you have him in a place where he's very nervous and afraid to fully love you. It is not that easy for people, let alone men, to share their feelings. And when he shared the possibilities of being with you and you're single, he's single, you're perfect. And I actually do think that a friendship that long where you two have been able to be authentic with each other, you've been able to be real, take off your mask. He knows you in your most uncomfortable, vulnerable, silly, having fun, relaxed self. You know him in all of those situations that he is, his good, his bad, his ugly, his okay. That would make for a great, loving relationship. So he expressed that to you and you shot him down. He pissed. He mad. He hurt. And you all talking now, he's talking to you with lenses on. He has glasses on and it's filtered because he doesn't really see you how he wants to see you because he's been hurt. So I commend you because you were aware of what you did. You said you apologized, but you weren't that apologetic. Very good to know that. Very good to be present on how you were and how you came to him. Now you have to be honest. You have to be honest to the point where you talk to him and let him know everything that you just told me, plus all of the extra emotional things that you didn't tell me. But don't cry. Because they don't really receive it that well when you're crying because they can't understand because you're, I'm sorry. Don't cry. Just tell him how you really feel. Tell him that you passed him up 24 years because you were in your own mess and why you were there. Because by him being your friend, he already knows that you were there. Now he just needs to know why. He needs an explanation and he needs to feel secure that you won't do it again. What's the difference in today and whenever the situation first occurred, when you first were intimate with him? Why should he trust you? Why should he trust you with his heart? You have to tell him that in the most honest and vulnerable state that you can be in. Be okay with whatever his answer is. That will make your response more authentic because you're not coming from a place where you're guaranteeing that he's going to say, okay, I love you and just take you and you all live happily ever after. This is you wanting to be with him and sharing the possibilities of where you can love from, how you all can be, and just being honest and saying, I really don't know how this will look, but I'm willing to try. I'm willing to share my heart with you. And I'm hoping that you'll love me enough and forgive me and be patient enough with me to love me back. So I hope that gave you a good explanation and some insight onto how you can help your relationship get back together the way it's supposed to be. And I definitely want to hear your story about how you all got married or you just living happily ever after, whatever that looks like for you too. Not quite sure, but tell me all about it. Now let's talk about why we tend to do this in the first place. Like when people say, why would I be afraid of the right relationship? Well, that's a good question. Why would you? But it's a very present question because we do. I have even been to that point to whereas I can get involved in a fear standpoint because remember, there are only two major emotions. It either falls into fear or it falls into love. When you're not doing things from a place of love, you're really doing things from a place of fear. So you're fearing that this might be the right relationship and it may be something that you're missing out on somewhere else. Or fear that you give your heart to this person and it doesn't work out the way you think it's supposed to. So there are some things that you could be doing to self-sabotage your relationship, and you not being in a place of awareness and being present to what you're responsible for, that you blame it all on the other person. All of a sudden, you all just start having a bunch of arguments. All of a sudden, things just aren't where they used to be. But this happened when your relationship was getting better. This happened when everything was looking for the good. You're moving, you're striding, you two are getting closer, connected, and then small things just start to happen. Well, that's a disconnect. Is it on the other person? Or was this relationship really becoming very real and very present for you that now you're starting to pull back and love differently? You're starting to pull back and not be who you were when you first started talking. And it's not just because, oh, he's changing, but are you afraid that this might be the right relationship for you? And it being the right relationship for you, you just might be happy. You want to be happy, but do you really know how to accept happiness? Do you really know how to accept love when it's really true and it's really authentic? Or are you self-sabotaging? Because it's easier to blame the other person. It's easier to say that they did something wrong. It's easier to say that they changed. Oh, it wasn't me. This happened just like my last relationships. Well, you know, I always say the only common denominator in your relationships is you. So it's something that you need to take a look at. I personally had to do this in a relationship that I've had where things were going fine. There was really nothing wrong. But little things would happen. And, oh, it's his fault. He did this. He didn't do that. I'm responding to you. Are you really, Maddie? Or are you responding to the fact that things are really just going right? And normally in your previous relationships around this time is where things got wrong. So unconsciously, you're preparing for something to happen in the future that isn't even there yet. We're in the now. We're in the present. So when you project things out in your future, especially those negative things in your future, you're reacting on something that hasn't happened yet. You're self-sabotaging. You're betraying your own trust in what you have. Why? Take a look at your patterns. Acknowledge your patterns and how they happen. Because it's not new. It's different things that you're doing. It's just disguised a little differently. You're playing it off a little differently. Sometimes, we know exactly the thing to say to the other person to piss them off, or exactly the other thing to make them feel some type of way that's unloving. It doesn't benefit you. It's only going to hurt you. Really take the time and do a self-evaluation, because love is your true desire. It is what you really want. This may not be the last relationship that you want. This may not be your forever, but it might be your right relationship. Don't destroy that. Take some time to self-evaluate. Take some time to acknowledge some of the things that you're saying, some of the things that you're doing. Maybe you need to think before you speak. Think before you act. It just might save your relationship. Thank you for tuning in to Captivating Conversations. My name again is Maddie Zarina Whitfield. We're here every single Tuesday. If you have a question, feel free to send it to me in a direct message on Facebook, or you can go to my website at mzwhitfield.com and submit your questions there. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Pass it on. Share this if you like it. See you soon.